All right, so last time we did 155 for 7 at an RPE of 9.5, and we lowered the weight to try and get some more reps to get that neurological adaptation down. But we're just gonna stick with 155 this time, and I'm just gonna try and get 9 reps on this set. Okay, so I said I wanted to get 9, but I remembered it was actually 8, and we got 8. 8 reps, RPE of 9.5. I think I might have been able to get 9 if I really tried, but I'm not 100% too sure. Whew. All right, rest is complete, and we're gonna try and get like 6 reps at least on this set. But if we can get 7, that is gonna be ideal. All right, well, we got the 7. That actually didn't feel as hard as I thought it was going to. So maybe just a little bit different form on each of the sets there. Maybe it could be just my foot position or whatever. And there's so many different things that could affect it on each set, right? Which is why it's super important to standardize everything. But overall, it felt pretty good. So we'll say 7 reps, probably similar. RP 9, 9.5. I'll write 9. Probably could have gotten 1 more. All right, so I was saying last time that we were having quite a bit of like support from our glutes or like our hip flexors on this movement. Our butt was just raising a little too much on some of the later reps, causing some form breakdown. So we were doing around like 120 or 110, but I've decreased the weight to 90. Yeah, we're just gonna do 90 pounds and just see how many reps we can do, but really make sure that I'm keeping my pelvis pushed into the bench so that there's none of that like help or support from the glutes or the hip flexors or any other sort of muscles around there. Okay, we're gonna call it at 9. That last rep was pretty hard. Whew, holy shit. Yeah, that last rep was pretty hard. Definitely an RPE of 10. But I'll have to look at the footage and see kind of how much I was keeping my pelvis into the bench, because it felt like okay. Not like 100% perfect, but I also changed one of the adjustment settings on the like calf pad here to be a little longer. So that's also gonna make it a little bit harder because it's changing like the moment arm. The leverage is changing. So I just changed it back to the previous setting I was using because I couldn't really like it was, the stretch was like almost too much and it didn't really feel very good. It felt pretty uncomfortable. So it was on large for that last set. For this next set, we've got it on the medium setting, which is what we were using before. All right, so like I said, we adjusted the little ankle pad here from the large setting to the medium setting. We're just gonna see how that kind of affects the set. And we're gonna keep the weight the same at 90 pounds. And maybe I'll get like somewhere between 6 and 8 reps is what we're gonna be aiming for, while keeping our pelvis pushed into the bench here. Okay, yeah, we're not getting that 7th. Oh my God, it hurts. My lower back is like, it's like kind of bending weird because I'm pushing my pelvis so much into the bench. So it kind of feels weird. It feels like good and bad at the same time. I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, 6 reps, RPE of 10, failure. Yeah, I don't know. Once I look back at the footage, I'll be able to tell like if my butt was like really raising it much, if at all. It didn't feel like it was, so not a bad set. 130 leg extension. We did 6 reps last time for our left leg, 6 for our right leg. So we're gonna try and get 7 here on our left leg. It was feeling pretty heavy though on our left leg when I did the warm-up sets. So we'll see. If we match again with 6, you know, not the biggest deal, but like I said, ideally we get 7 here. Okay, we're not getting that 7th. Oh my God, that felt so heavy. We didn't even go for the 7th because, man, that was just fucking brutal. Might have been using a little bit of momentum there on a couple of the reps to help get it up. That's okay. We'll write 6 reps, RPE of 10. We'll try and do the same on the right leg, you know. Last time we got 6 reps with an RPE of 9. I don't know, we'll probably just do the same. We'll probably just match and just get 6 reps on the right side as well. But yeah, with this being our only quad exercise, you know, I really got to make sure that I'm pushing myself on every one of these sets here. Yeah, so definitely could have gotten 7 on that right leg. You know what? Maybe I even could have gotten 8. So we'll write an RPE. Holy shit. We'll write an RPE of 8.5 for that set. And then on the left leg, you know, I would like to get 5 for our second set so that we can experience some progressive overload. However, you know, if we match again with 4 like we got last time, that's totally okay too. All right, so we had, unfortunately, another pretty long rest due to something that came up. So I had to step away for a good handful of minutes there. We probably took like a 10-minute rest in between this last set here. So we might end up matching again with 6, not a big deal. And it's still on the weight of the previous person that was here. Okay, what is it, 130. All right, take 2. Okay, looks like the rest wasn't long enough to where we would get more reps. So yeah, 4 reps. We obviously went for the 5th and failed, so an RPE of 10. Whew. Okay, so the goal for this second set on our right leg here is probably gonna be to match with the amount of reps we got last time, which would be 5, or maybe we can match with the left side with 4. Either or, it's not really gonna make too big of a difference because we're wanting our left leg to catch up to the size and strength of our right leg. So doing a couple less reps on our right leg isn't gonna be the biggest issue. Okay, yeah, 5 reps, same amount we got last time, but I'd say it's a lower RPE. I think we might have been able to get 2 more there for sure, actually. I'm gonna write 5 reps with an RPE of 8. You know, man, my right leg is just so much stronger than my left, so we're gonna have to do some serious work to get this left leg to catch up. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be matching reps on my right leg going forward. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably still write the RPEs or maybe we'll just stop training the right leg until the left leg can catch up. I don't know, we'll see, we'll figure it out. All right, so I just messed around with the pad position and the seating position a little bit, because you can adjust both of these obviously, to try and find something that feels pretty good that I can standardize. All right, so I just messed around with the pad position and the seating position a little bit, because you can adjust both of these obviously, to try and find something that feels pretty good that I can standardize. So I don't know how it's gonna affect, I don't know if it was the same as I was doing last time, so I don't know how it's gonna affect this set, but last time we got 140 for 8 and an RPE of 9.5, so ideally we get 9 this time. But like I said, you know, I don't know how adjusting where the seat is and adjusting where the pads are gonna affect that. You know, I feel like there's a lot that goes into this exercise in terms of your body position. Like my hips could either be like extended, even though I'm perfectly sitting back like this, or they could be rotated forward. And you know, that's gonna affect the set, right? So many little things. I'm gonna try and just make sure everything is nice and standardized. I set the stoppers here at 8, the seat position is set to 2, and then I wanna try and keep my hips just like nice and straight so that I can still dead stop it. And you know, like right now I feel a pretty deep stretch on this. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna try and get 9 here. Yeah, it was a pretty fucking hard set, but we got the 9. Felt pretty good. You know, I'm still having a little bit of, like my hips are kind of changing position, so it's changing how much I feel the stretch on my adductors. So, and I know that's gonna affect the set because, you know, one rep I might be getting deeper than another, so that'll affect the set because it's not standardized. And it's another reason why I think standardizing your form on every single exercise is super important, so that you know when you're actually progressively overloading. I gotta find a way to make sure that my hips are kind of locked in place so that I can standardize my form on this one. But either way, you know, we still got the 9 reps, an RP of 9.5. I might have been able to get 10, and I think we might go up in weight next session. We'll see how the second set goes. You know, if we get 7 or 8, we'll probably go up in weight next session, but if we match with 6 like we did last time, we'll probably just stick with 140 on our next leg day. All right, well, we took a little bench press intermission in the middle of that rest period there, because, you know, sometimes you just gotta on a leg day. We might get less reps than ideal here due to the increased fatigue. But yeah, 140. Goal is gonna be 7. If we get 6, or even if we get 5, now that we're a little more fatigued, not a big deal. All right, 7 reps. We will take it. Not bad, probably an RPE of 9.5. Didn't go for the 8th, so not failure. Overall, pretty good set. I wasn't as fatigued as I thought I'd be from the bench press. All right, so last time for these, we did 20 pounds for 8 reps and RPE of 10. So we'll try and get 9 reps this time, because I want to get back up to the 25 pounds that we were doing before. We're gonna try and progressively overload this, you know, as much as we can. Yeah, that is fucking brutal, dude. I'm pretty sure we got 9 though. All right, 9. Dude, honestly, I think we might have been able to get a 10th. RPE of 9.5. On the second set, we'll definitely try and get 7, you know, or maybe 8. And if we get 8 on the second set, I'm gonna go up to 25 pounds next leg day. All right, so, you know, like I said, we're gonna try and get at least 7 here. Obviously the goal is 8 so that we can go up in weight next session. But if we only get 7, not a big deal. And if we only get 6, I mean, it is what it is, right? So the goal though is gonna be 7 reps. Okay, we're not getting that 7. Oh my God. Dude, that was so painful. Whew, holy shit. Pretty sure that was 6. Definitely an RPE of 10 there. Failure. Dude, it just hurt so much. I actually could not do another rep. Whew. All right, so I just did the warm-ups. You know, last time we did 180. I just put it to 200 for our last warm-up rep here. And it felt pretty heavy on the shoulders, not necessarily on the calves, which is pretty annoying. You know, either way, we're gonna have to deal with kind of the pressure on the shoulders. I might be able to get like, I don't know, a hoodie or maybe some yoga mats or something next time and just put them here. There's actually some yoga mats right here, so I could try it on my second set, but we're gonna see how it feels for the first set here. With 180, we did like 10 reps at an RP of 9.5. So, you know, the goal for this set is probably gonna be to get around like 8-ish, somewhere between 8 and 10. That's the goal with 200 pounds. Okay, we're gonna call it an 8. Not a bad set. It felt pretty good. Not very good on the shoulders, but on the calf, you know, it felt pretty good. So 8 reps, not bad. RPE of a 10, probably, maybe 9.5. We'll rate an RPE of 9.5 because I feel like if I really tried, I could have got one more. Even though we kind of went for the 9th and failed there, I feel like if I really tried, I could have gotten that 9th. So we're gonna rest up for a minute and then do the right leg and probably match reps, you know, get around 8 again. All right, so I just kind of jumped the gun and put the foam blocks there to see if that would make it feel a little bit better on the shoulders. You know, we got 8 reps. Honestly, I probably could have gotten like 2 more. So we're gonna rate an RP of 8 for our right leg there. The foam blocks, they felt like, I don't know, they felt okay. I can't say it was better than just the standard pads on this machine, but it wasn't worse. So I don't know, I feel like there's not really much point to using them. I was messing around a little bit with a yoga mat in between that set there, and it just didn't really feel right either, you know? It was just really awkward. So we'll probably just have to deal with the pads unless I figure something else out. For now, the pads are what we got to deal with. So yeah, I just messed around a little bit more with a yoga mat to try and find some way to put it on the pads here to make it a little less uncomfortable. But it's just really nothing, like it's just too awkward. You know, I did find one way that would have been like pretty nice where I just kind of wrap it around this way, but then like I have nowhere to put my head. You know, there's not really much point to doing it like that because then it just makes it unusable. And then I thought like, oh, I can wrap, you know, it individually around this pad here, but it just adds too much bulk, too much setup time, just awkward still. So I think we're just gonna have to deal with bruising our shoulders from the pads here. So yeah, anyways, we'll do our second set here on our left leg. And the goal here is gonna be around 6 or 7 reps. We'll see what we can do there. Okay, yeah, so we got the 7 reps there on our left leg. I think I might have been able to do 8. So we're gonna run an RP of 9.5. And for our left leg, we'll probably just match with 7. All right, rest for the left leg's complete. So yeah, like I said, we're just gonna match with 7 reps here for our right leg. All right, not bad. Felt pretty good. Yeah, it's probably around the same thing. You know, I probably could have gotten like two more. So we're gonna write 7 reps, RP of 8. Overall is a pretty good set. You know, next session we'll try and make sure that we're pushing harder on our left leg so that it can catch up to the size and strength of our right leg. All right, so, you know, I don't have shorts today, so hopefully I don't get in trouble, but okay, quads. Not bad. You know, now that we're only doing 1 exercise for our quads here, they're probably not going to be seeing as much growth as we'd like, but that's okay. Calves, not bad. I feel like, you know, I'm just kind of jumping up and down in weight a lot. I've kind of hit a plateau with the weight loss, which is kind of unfortunate. So, you know, either I gotta start tracking my calories or I'll probably, like, I eat this like rice bowl, so I might just replace the rice with lettuce or something to cut some of the calories. And then adding more steps in my day as well could help keep the weight loss on a consistent path downwards because, you know, like I was saying yesterday, right, there's just no way I'm nowhere near where I want to be, right? So I still don't have abs, and you know, I'd like to get lean enough to where not only I have abs, but, you know, I've got a bicep vein. I can see all the heads of my quad, all the heads of my tricep, and striations in my shoulders. Like, I was seeing a little bit of striations yesterday, I think, or it was the day before when I was doing the Physique update in the mirror. And, you know, it was pretty nice. It might have been a lighting thing, though, which, of course, everything's lighting. You know, the better lighting, the better you're going to look. So I think the shoulders aren't really going to be something we've got to worry about too much. Obviously, we're still going to train them. Yeah, the big areas for the fat are a little bit on the arms, the belly, the legs. Yeah, I'll just try my best to kind of cut calories where I can with my current diet. You know, when the girlfriend offers me a bite of her food, have a little bit more discipline to say no, because that could be a reason. You know, 1 bite of the shit she eats could be like 100 calories, right? And that can make the difference between gaining or losing weight, right? Even just a small amount of calories like that. And then if I take 2 or 3 bites, you know, then there's a fucking problem. Anyways, tomorrow's a rest day. Gonna go check out some motorcycles tomorrow. You know, I want to look at like an R9, and the girlfriend wants to look at a ZX6R. We're gonna do that, and then yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday for chest and back.